Oh, I'm at such a weird angle. Sorry about that. My cat was like sleeping right here, so my angle of where I am is all sorts of cattywampus. Give me just 1 second because I gotta pull up the YouTube channel. Nobody ever talks on YouTube, but then there's like 50 bajillion comments I'm just missing because YouTube doesn't seem to want to work with Streamlabs ever. So just give me 2 seconds to switch that over. Hope everyone is having a good Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, depending on when you guys are watching this. I also, just for the sake of using it, I've turned on the LEDs to rotate different colors, so hopefully that's not too jarring. Hopefully it distracts away from the fact that I had crazy hair, especially in my last video. If you guys watched the Emperor video, which I'm still wearing the clothes of, because after the Emperor video ended, everyone was like, Jake, let's play some Warzone. And I was like, no, please. I don't have the strength to play any Warzone. So that's where I was there. So that's what my evening had turned into. There are my inventory stuffs. I did win. I was like, I didn't remember if I won my guild bid or not. And I remember how to turn off this costume too. Gotta go take off this amazing drip here real quick. Yeah, this is my default helmet. Don't ask why I have this helmet on. I just find it comical to look at. And we will put on our Cadwell's helmet again. Ooh, it's like Thanos putting on the Infinity Gauntlet. Bringing it back. But welcome as everyone trickles in. Hope you guys are doing well. No, it's a very late stream time, and it's probably pretty jarring having these random lights going off, but I've not used them before, and what you guys also have to know about me too is like, I don't know how to be a streamer. So what I do a lot of times is I watch other people's streams and I go, and one of them had like flashing LEDs. So I was like, that's neat. Adds a little ambiance, to the background. So that's how I have now stolen that idea. I also now remember too that one of my disc plates fell off, so there's like just this gap back there of where it should be. But welcome. Also, if you're here, did you enjoy the Emperor video? Did you guys like it? Hope it was pretty swaggerlicious for you. And we are both on Twitch and YouTube currently. Not to do anything super specific, but because I'm off work, I was like, it's a good time to stream, answer any questions that you guys have, see if you guys want any specifics on the new videos. They've confirmed the Pan Elsewhere event. So I made the video it was yesterday with the Market Watch, and I was like, God, is going to be the next one. It was good. Thank you, William. Thank you for being the first person to talk too. For a second I was like, I hope my mic's not muted. But, honestly too, this is a more restrained time. I'll never make Emperor. Honestly, I thought the same thing too, William. And I found there was a good opportunity for me, and I took it. That's really, sometimes it's just what it boils down to, Sometimes it's more about the opportunity than anything else. If I could teach you nothing. But this is a great opportunity to just chit-chat with you guys. So tomorrow I'm thinking I'll make the Pan Elsewhere video. I'm just a listener, says Devin. Well, Devin, sometimes I have to know what you guys are thinking. I have to, be in the mind of one of you so that I know what you guys want to hear and want to see, because I sometimes don't know. This whole streaming concept is still new. Basically, I was just guilted into doing it by one of my friends, and I've just been doing it since. So that's how we've ended up streaming in general. Too many game hours to give for it. That's definitely true, unfortunately. It does take quite a considerable amount of time to go out and get that thing. Do you guys like the audio, by the way? I really don't quite fully understand what they do, I'll be honest, but I believe one of the big ones is like if I like type on a keyboard or do anything, it like prevents that. It's like a noise gate. It also helps, you know, funnel the noise, make it sound more. Because I was looking at all my old comments. You already replied to my comment about no CP, so you know what I want. Oh yeah, you wanted a just tell me if this is wrong, or actually tell me if this is correct too. It was a video concept about no proc sets. Honestly, I think a cool video concept could be an easy guide for I almost think for everything. Like you could do like every class's easy Oakensoul build, and then you could do one on like every class's no proc build, and then you could do like a cheap proc build for every class, like something like that. I think it'd be pretty good. I'm also gonna switch this over because for some reason the chat is like not popping up in this Streamlabs chat box for whatever reason. I never know why it doesn't ever want to pick up from you guys. Refresh browser when scene becomes active. I don't know. It never wants to work. It's just so finicky. I go into non-CP and the same people that farm the bosses there murder me every time, no matter what I do. Been playing an Oakensoul Sniper DK lately. There's so many good ones. I'm gonna switch this over here, by the way, to the traditional layout. Yeah, I think Oakensoul is very nice, especially if you just want to build where you don't have to put a lot of thinking into it. Now you just go out there and you just, you just do what you want, essentially. Hey, y'all, it took me almost 10 minutes to figure out my sound was muted. Was wondering why everything was so quiet. I was worried, too, that, my sound was muted because yesterday I came back and I started chit-chatting and my sound was turned off. So, like, those of you who don't know, I leave my Streamlabs on overnight because if I leave it on, it will tell me, like, all of the new Twitch followers and YouTube followers. So it helps me get a good gauge of, like, so, say I post a video at 5 a.m. or whatever time, and then I gain 10 subscribers immediately after. I go, oh, that video did really well, and it's, helping out a whole lot, right? But I also, like, turn all the dials and stuff off because I obviously would be a little afraid that, I accidentally go live. I have, like, this fear that my cat will walk across my keyboard, and then I'll just end up going live, and then you guys will be like, Jake's not in front of the screen, but I hear someone singing, and it sounds like a shower's running in the background. Just went for a turn and burn run. Bit of a... hang on. Just went for a turn and burn real quick. Run bit of a say a Ken block deal. I actually made a block tank, too. If you ever need something like crazy like that, I'll show it to you real quick. I think I have, like... oh, I don't know if I have them equipped with it. I have a really stupid build that I think is hilariously stupid. This is the first ever character I made on Xbox because they wouldn't let me port. I missed the time to port my thing over. What's the word I'm looking for? My character over from PC. So this guy is just like, he's just like a throwaway guy that I made with the assumption that like I'll be able to bring my Sorcerer over. That's why my first character is not my main character, for those of you who've ever wondered that. This guy, I don't know if he's got the right stuff on. Let's see, is he wearing the right... oh, yeah. Alright, so he's wearing a set. When you block, you deal 3,200 blah, blah, blah magic damage back to all enemies within... what did I have that on? This is a mixture. Oh, it is a mixture. And then the Harbinger, when you block, you deal 2,223 damage, physical damage back to the attacker that scales off your max health. I thought that this setup was hilarious. It used to be significantly better because I believe it used to do a percentage of what the attacker would have done to you or some other. I believe it was higher. And then when you reflect, I have the Asylum weapons on because I was just like, I don't know anyone, I don't really know what else to put on here, so I just slapped on the Asylum weapons. But he was an interesting tank setup, and you can see he's got almost 50k health, and all he needs to do is block. It's such like a stupid setup, but I mean it was getting kills, so I mean that's the bar. And really, I also tried to model him off Ares from like how he looks on Smite. So like that's who he is now. He's Ares. I think his two-handed sword is a lot bigger. Oh, he doesn't even have his two-hander skill set up yet. He was not usually a... The second ever character I made was a Redguard Nightblade. And you may not know this, but Redguards and Nightblades don't really complement each other at all, you know? It's kind of like being like a class that has like no magic and then being a magicka-based class with like no compliments or anything towards it. So that's kind of my and I just based him off Moon Knight from when I watched that TV series. So that's what he's based off now. And then this guy was just he's like my he was my main PvP character for a while. Forget what he's wearing. That's why I made my DK today. Ares, the God of War. There you go. There's a DPS. I probably would see a lot more success with him, but I remember this. This is back when I was like just getting into PvP. You can see that this guy's not. What's he even wearing? I'm like scared to show you guys on stream what I even put on him. What food is he even using? Oh, he's got basic tri-stat. Oh lord. Alright, so he's got Briarheart, which I mean, is not bad. Yeah, it's a pretty good set. Cellstrix, okay. Hunting's Rage. So this is more of a PvE. I wonder if this was an arena setup? I don't remember what I used this for. I don't think I used this for PvP. Maybe I did. But I guess you could. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with it. It's just an interesting setup for a warden. Generally, wardens are very, like... Stam wardens are so specific to what they do. What Mundus do I have on him? I feel like his health is, like, super, super low. The Thief? Oh, no. He's, like, trying to do a little bit of everything, you know? But, yeah. He was an experiment, I think, gone wrong. But wardens are so, like, particular in PvP. Like, it's pretty much just beetles, reverse slash... Although, honestly, I don't know why he has critical charge. I think cleave was more of a specific to... Oh, I don't know why. Sometimes I don't play a character for a while and I go back and I'm like, ugh. Like, leveled up his bow to and like, all these other skills. So I was like, well, you know, because this guy's also a sorcerer and a Breton. I completely redid his face. He didn't look like this originally. And I don't ever know why. I think you know what I think it was? I think it was the name. This is before you could change your names, I think, and I didn't like the name that he had, so I ended up making a whole new sorcerer. So he got to level 17. Then I went on and then made him look like Zuth just for, you know, shits and giggles. And this guy who used to look like Loki, and then for one day I was just like, we'll change him around a little bit. I think it's because I got the fire magma skin from I didn't remember what it drops from, and I was like, you know, let's put something on him, you know. And then the main character. Then we have Hades. This guy's actually a werewolf build. I just wanted some guy to look like Hades. Western Templar, who's going to be based off of the 40k universe. Oh, hello, Evie. What's up? Just trying to cause chaos here is what she's trying to do. He's actually based off an Inquisitor from the 40k universe. I don't know if I'm going to keep this color scheme or not. The weapon that he actually uses lights on fire when you pull it out, which I think is pretty neat. And he's a Templar. I feel like that's pretty accurate. Evie, what are you doing? Here from Smite. Well, I guess technically not Smite. I'm basing him off of Norse mythology. Yeah. It's, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, that Greek god that's in that, you know, from the Percy Jackson movie. It's like, well, you know, I think they come from somewhere else. But then we have Green Goblin. I need to fix his boots because I think the Green Goblin had more purpley boots. So I will change those at some point. Then I have a Jedi guy who I was like, make a character based off of it. How's it going, Steven? Poseidon. And that's it. You know, we have a new character slot too. You know, no pressure. We could build something. Mimi, what are you doing? How's everyone doing, by the way, too? Anyone want any specific videos this week, by the way? So, because they've announced the Pan Elsewhere event, I will be making a video on the Pan Elsewhere event tomorrow. I'm going to switch that to the top priority because the Pan Elsewhere event seems on its surface very bare bones, but the amount of money that you can make during the Pan Elsewhere event is ridiculous. Do not underestimate the value of the Motifs from Southern Elsewhere. Do not undervalue the drops that you get from dragons, because the potions that's used to make from those dragons is ridiculously expensive. So, and don't forget too, Riem is locked behind an achievement. That's why I'm making it tomorrow, like pushing it to the front, because Dragon Riem only drops from dragons if you have the specific achievement, and that's what makes it so important to have. So if you're confused at what I'm talking about, I'll show you. But the Pan Elsewhere event that's coming out in January this month is going to be a very, very good opportunity for you guys to make money. Night stream, say no more. Good evening. How's it going, Corrupt Snake? Yeah, I was just kind of like, I didn't get a chance to stream earlier today because I wasn't feeling too great. There's something in my throat for some reason. It felt like I swallowed a dust ball or something when I was like walking around and doing errands. So then I was like, well, we'll do it, later at night. So it's later at night. So here we are. But this achievement right here, they're doing a no death and speed run. I say right here, but I have to go find it like a silly goose. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. It sucks because sometimes, like, if I'm not feeling well, my throat, it's like very difficult to talk, and I still had to record the Emperor video, which hopefully you guys enjoyed. Where is that? Dragonhold. It's one of these bad boys. Here it is. This is immensely important that you have this achievement by the time the Pan Elsewhere event starts. Your money making will be significantly higher if you have this. So I know I'm like saying this a lot, but this achievement is important. This achievement almost deserves its own video on important achievements because of how essential it is to have something like and I'm also surprised too that anything would be hidden behind, like, essentially a dragon drop that's worth thousands of gold will only drop if you have this achievement. So that's why it's so important. I know I keep saying it, but like, if you don't have this achievement now, I would start going out and trying to get this achievement, because you can get it pretty quickly, because as you can see, you can do it from Dirt or Chizbar the Chipper. So you could go out, do 2 of these a day, and then have enough time to actually go and complete the this achievement. But it's really important that you start this now if you don't have it already. Plus, like, let's not kid ourselves too, those Dragon Guard motifs, that's the chest I'm wearing, by the way. Like, the chest that you see on your boy right here is a Dragon Guard motif. Like, they are absolutely sick. So the motifs from here are amazing and immaculate. It also might be a time too, during the Pan Elsewhere event, sometimes they release like previous stuff. That's I think where my personality comes from too, because I think they added it to a crown crate, but originally it was around when the Elsewhere event, this as well. But the motifs, the Dragon Guard ones, look amazing. I'll show you guys in an outfit station, because it's really good to do. I think it was on my video on the top daily quest to farm, or like daily quest that you should consider farming. Let me see if I can leap this. Whew. Boom. And I tried to land on the platform. That didn't work out. Keep my buff food, so I have my vegetables active. Alright, outfit station. So you can see the Dragon Guard chests. So this is the light one, right? And this is literally like, I think I paid like 100k gold for it. And this was just at a random time. This is what I don't know why it's so black. I guess it's because of how the other ones died. And then See what the heavy looks like. Not that much different than the medium, but it's a great motif. Let's see what the head looks like. Because I remember the head also. The head, I think it was the chest, the legs, the helmet were the three #1 most valuable pieces. That's Dragon Bone. I don't know if I have it. Maybe I don't have the actual helmet. Something for me to do. Yeah, the Dragon Guard helmet. That's what it looks like light. How's it going, Law Dog? Hope my PvP video on how to become the Emperor was accurate. If not, you can tear it apart. So that's what it looks like in heavy. This is what it looks like in medium. It's got like that. Almost looks like a Roman type theme. I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to continue the promise to stream and make a video every day. Keeping it going. Talking a little bit about the Pan Elsewhere event. And the motifs that are associated with. So I'm pretty sure it's chest, helmet, legs are the top 3 most valuable ones from Southern Elsewhere. The sets from Southern Elsewhere aren't really going to net you anything. Crafty Alfiq from Northern Elsewhere can be good. I noticed that sometimes it's there's tons of listings of Crafty Alfiq, and then other times there's 0 listings. Crafty Alfiq it's a pretty popular set just due to the fact that it just gives you straight magicka, so it's pretty universal in what it does. And it is definitely tricky, but I do watch your Law Dog videos too. I'm still waiting for a Jake Clip Exposed one. I was a little upset that you had one on Nephis, Deltias, and Hack the Minotaur, I think. And I was like, I'm just not on the list. Get you anything super special? You can take a look here. But Crafty Alfiq, for especially for your question too earlier about top no proc sets, I would say Crafty is one of the ones up there just because of the fact that it's so easily universal to use. Oh, where am I going? As you can see, Southern Elsewhere has got Dragon Guard Elite. Can't go after a nice person, bro. I appreciate it. It's all those likes on your videos. It's kind of satiated your bloodlust. That's what it is. Like, Dragon Guard Elite is kind of like if you almost had a good PvE set, but you scuffed it by having not great 2, 3, and 4s to complement it very well. Marauder's Haste, when you apply a damage shield to yourself or an ally, increase your movement speed by 18%. How's the stream going? Splinter Statue, it's pretty good. We're just chit-chatting after we made the how to become the Emperor video. No pressure, we're just, chatting. It's also, I don't think I've ever streamed this late on a weekday, so, just trying to get people that we don't usually get. The only thing that's cool about the Marauder's Haste is that you're getting movement speed from a set, like from a non-bonus, so you in theory could stack this with other named buffs like Major Expedition, Minor Expedition. That's about the only good thing about this. But the problem is there's a speed cap, so you're not gonna be in a situation where pretty much you combine a couple speed buffs together and you're gonna be at the speed cap. So unfortunately, that's where this set falls off. And its 2, 3, and 4 aren't going to be really great that complement you if you were just trying to do like an overworld farming type build. And then Sensual Defender. Sensual Shield, by the way, is another amazing motif that you can get. Dealing direct damage with a non-heavy attack grants you 1 persistent stack up to 10, blah, blah, blah. You restore. Not something you're really going to need. It suffers from the... Looks like it could be used by a tank, but there's better options to give tanks their stats back for stamina and magicka. But it's not terrible. It's just not going to be something that you're going to be able to sell. Is it worth to do the scrying and excavation? Yeah, scrying and excavation is one of the #1 things that you can like skill lines that you can level up. just solely for the fact that a lot of the mythicals in ESO are locked behind scrying and excavation. So if you don't have scrying and excavation, I would encourage you to level it up. Plus, the nice thing too, if you guys haven't done this already, so say you're either leveling up your scrying or you're looking to, level up your scry. Once you can do purple leads, go to every single zone and then do the green, blue, and then purple, because that means that every zone is going to give you a 5k treasure that you can sell. It is one time use, so you will have to go from, zone to zone, but 5k, 10k, 15k, 20k, 25k, 30k, 35k, 40k, 45k. You can see that it really adds up. I don't know what the math comes out to now since they've added the zones since I did the original video, but I believe it's like 260,000 free gold that you can just get, and it's a good way to level up by doing those purple leads. I need a set that gives you more gathering items. I believe they were piloting a mythical that did that, but they pulled it out for some reason. They didn't feel like it could go on the servers for whatever reason. Plus the 100k coin, yeah, Law Dog's right. So if you do every single zone and you go back to the Antiquarian Eye, you can then pick up a coin called the Alesh coin. I think it drops from Western Skyrim, so I can show it to you. I think it's Western Skyrim at least. DLC areas, let's see. Yeah, Alesh coin. You could get this bad boy, and you can sell it for 100k gold. I'll have to work on that then, says Steven. Yeah, it's really good. The easiest way to do it is honestly, so you go to, so if you have Artaeum in the Somerset DLC, I would go here. If you don't have it and you have a character who's leveled up in the Mages Guild, I would go to Ivea, and then you can do it there. You just want like a nice tiny island where there's not a lot of mobs, because there's nothing worse than mobs respawning and then taking you out of an excavation. So that's going to be the easiest way to do it. The other thing too is if you are leveling it, it also helps if you have skill points. That might seem very redundant, but having more opportunities and having more skills will make it significantly easier for you. Because I had a friend who, we were both leveling it up the night that it came out, super excited about, scrying and all the things that, possibilities that could be because of it. Thanks for the follow, Wizard. How's it going to you? And he didn't have any skill points, so I was over here getting all the passives, like, oh yeah, I've got all this extra time, I've got all these extra skills. Oh, my cat's moving my microphone. What are you doing? It's causing chaos. Oh, hang on, I gotta reset this. I fed you already. Sorry, this is what happens when you own a temperamental cat. Wants attention. So I was getting all these extra things and whatnot, and he was not, and you could tell he was suffering. I have 50 extra skill points, so I'm good there. That is good, because I'll show you. Like, once you get good at it, and it's a viable gold method for console, I would say. I wouldn't really suggest this for PC, just due to the fact that PC, it's so much easier to make gold on PC by selling normal things. In fact, if you're actually on PC, you'll make significantly more money going over to these fishing areas in Artaeum and just fishing there. I don't PvE much, so I'm always low on skill points. Yeah, that's what I suffer with anytime I make a new character. Honestly, the only way that I get skill points on new characters is I go to public dungeons. Like, I'll just go like to all the base game public dungeons and just grab the skill points. This character, I've done everything, except I don't have the fishing achievement yet. I'm just trying to 100% complete this character at this point. Like, all the trials, all the PvP achievements and whatnot. I think I'm pretty close for all the PvP achievements. I just have to level them up a little bit more. I think I have to kill a specific type of people. I don't think I've done all those. I think it's more those battleground ones, and then I have to get those last AP ones, and then defeat more relic carriers and all the other battleground ones. Same here. Yeah, I think it's the best way to do it. I mean, you can do like some of the DLC zone storylines to get skill points pretty quickly, but it can be pretty painful to do the same storylines over and over again. So if you were to scry, what you would want to do is like as you level up your scrying, um, so you obviously you're going to be doing your greens for a while. When you get the Dragon Guard achievement on one character, does it apply to all of your characters automatically? You will have to log into your characters and make sure that you did, but so when they did the whole achievements are across characters basically, as long as say for example you don't have like character number 10 has the achievement and you haven't logged in on him since the change, as long as you haven't done that, you're fine. Basically, all you would have to do is log in on him. The achievements will then apply. All the achievements from the other characters will then apply to them. Then you would log back on characters number 1 through 9. And then when you're logged on, any other achievements would then apply to them also. But the reason why having the abilities for scrying makes it easier, so your goal for scrying is to like connect these little things all to this using like the patterns. But once you have like, see how my LB, RB, and then Y buttons, once you have like this LB skill, you can just crank through these. You don't even have to put like a lot of thought into it anymore. You just crank through it with your scrying. And then it will then pick the area for you, and then you can go from there. There's a fun little neat secret that I'll share with you guys since you guys are here, late at night with me. I've been testing out, so when you are digging up an item, which you'll see here when I get to this one after yeeting myself off the cliff, you have a chance to get a lot of bonus items. And a lot of times I didn't think that the bonus items were really anything special, but what I would say is that I got a really good motive one time from a zone. So I've been testing out, is it viable to intentionally fail a scry, like an actual excavation part of the scrying, just to keep redoing that bonus item? Because if you can get decent motives as bonus items, like what else is in those loot pools? That's kind of what I'm wondering. And I think that there could definitely be some validity to doing these over and over again if something like that were to be true, like especially if you have the chance to get like the ancient motifs. Oh, by the way, I didn't explain what I just did. So usually I start smack dab in the middle. This little highlighted square here is where the item can be, essentially. Not the whole item. As long as one little point of this square has the item in it, then it technically counts. So that's what this yellow is. So then I just went down. I was like, well, is it over here? It said that it wasn't over here, but it gave me this new radius that was larger. But if you were to cross-reference these, it would direct you up to here to then restart to do it. So what I usually do is I just dig, and then I get my trowel leveled up, and I just pick a random square to try to get a bonus item. And then, you can roll. We did actually get a bonus item. Maybe we'll get something juiced. Probably not, but because I don't know like which zones have good bonus items, what's in the bonus item loot pool. Stuff like that, I just don't know. But I would like them to tell. Oh, we got 2 bonus items. Usually it seems like it's like some little rinky-dink item that you can sell for like 6 gold. Yeah, so we got etched magnesium, a child's drum, which is a quick sell item, and then 156 gold. Which, I mean, isn't like the worst thing in the world. And then it gives you the access to do the blue lead. So you can do the green and the blues as many times as you want. And what we actually dug up has like some value to it. It's going to be something that you can really only sell to a trader. I forget where treasures are because I don't... kind of useless items. So the drum we got was worth 40 gold, big money, and then 250 gold from the actual lead. You can do those green and blues though as many times as you want. The only thing is you have to do the green before you can then do the blue again, which is important because the blue is worth more money, so it makes sense to just keep farming the blue, but to do the blue you have to do the green ahead of time, and then you would get access to the purple once you're the proper level, but you can only do the purple once, but it's worth 5k gold. So that's why going around to every zone can be pretty lucrative if you're, needing a bunch of gold, but I don't necessarily suggest it. Depends. If you have a lot of the way shrines unlocked, it is a great gold method. If you don't, it can be. There's definitely better gold methods out there, but it is also a quicker way to level up your scrying too. So you gotta kind of weigh those things. And to give like a visual as to what Spicy Ghost was talking about, so what some of the treasure items like drums can be used for the Crow's West and the Clockwork City, but otherwise just junk. Yeah, that's the important, or that's the sucky part, Danny. I wish I knew too what the loot tables were. I could ask and see if they would tell me, but this is the question that Spicy Ghost was asking. For those of you who just tuned in or are tuning in, this right here is essential. If you do not have this right now, and you plan to either, or you want to make a lot of money in the near future, you need to get this. This achievement, Dragon Guard Operative, is what triggers any dragon you kill to drop Rheum, which is one of the most valuable re-ingredients used to make heroism potions, which are potions that basically sell to the endgame community or, you know, for a lot of different purposes, because they are expensive to make. So people are always looking to buy Rheum. The thing that sucks is you have to have this first. But the next event is the Pan Elsewhere event, which means that the Elsewhere event areas are going to add more drops, are going to have all this more extra stuff to them. So everyone's going to be farming dragons, and it was going to be so much not, you know, you're going to be missing out on so much money if you do not have this achievement ahead of time. You will have enough time, I imagine, so if they start, even if they start the event in 2 weeks, because you can do 2 of these per day, you can get this on this character already. Usually I travel by going to guildmates, which is good. The only thing that's going to suck, though, is say you like go to Blackwood or pick a zone that you like have like one race shrine, or say you travel to your guildmate and he's like up here and then the scry is like all the way down here. That's what can make it not as worth it if you don't have a lot of way shrines already. But if you have a lot of way shrines, at least in the majority of areas, it can be better. They're pretty rubbish. I love scrying and digging up for Antiquities. Not really worth it going for extra items. I was of that opinion too, Danny. But then I got a Motif one time and I was like, you know, my brain juices were flowing, right? And I was thinking to myself, what, you know, are there any zones that have anything in this loot pool that could make it worth it for me? Is what my mind kind of went to. What are you doing, cat? Sorry, my cat just wants a lot of attention right now. So that's kind of where what I'm thinking is like, what is in that loot pool that either is available to get to us? Motive, impressive, never seen one on my 16 ult worth of scrying. But you see, that's the thing too, is like, what I was doing is I was intentionally kind of digging not in the area of the item to, you know, try to see what, you know, to basically get higher chances of bonus items. And then, so if you then causes you to fail because you didn't dig up the item in time, then it will then put another dig site next to you. It's very counterintuitive, and I don't know if it's really worth it. I certainly haven't made a video or like made any claims about it yet, but I find it very interesting. And I hope that they're, because you got to remember too, like, there's a lot of hidden items in ESO. Like, there's so many rare furnishings from Vardenfell that are all worth upwards of 10 million gold. What if one of them was just secretly in this loot pool that nobody knew about? It's just things like that that kind of make me wonder, you know, what is these drop rates? Or even think too, like, I still want to know what the drop rate is of the Khajiit Enchanted Brazier, you know? Yeah, that happens quite often, but I've been finding sky shards in my travels too. Yeah, if you've been like going around, like picking up sky shards from zones and whatnot, especially if you have the big zones, like if you don't have all the way shrines in the Gold Coast, you know, like big whoop. Although what I would say is some zones are deceptive, like High Isle doesn't look big, but it's pretty big. And then some zones can just be very annoying. I had to be careful which swear words I use now due to YouTube's new rules, but I hate traveling through Rothgar because there's like this big mountain here that you don't really see on the map, and some of the zones in ESO are just so mountainous it can be very tricky to traverse them sometimes on new characters if you don't have way shrines. Also think too, Danny, what if like some of the ancient motifs are in there, like the ancestral ones too? It's ones like that that I'm like, you know, it's just like if you got like one like ancestral motif, like an ancestral Breton motif, for example, say you were doing like junk in High Isle, that would just make it, you know, that could be worth like 200k gold. Or if you went to Galen and Galen had some of their stuff in there. But that's the problem, is when you don't know the loot pool, you don't know what are you rolling for, and what's the most effective way to pick up junk. You know, that's the other thing too. Like, do you just dig randomly where the item isn't, or do you just go and just start digging straight down? You know, do you not even try to locate the item? That's kind of what I don't know. Would love that. I've been playing for 18 months now, not seen any. That's the other thing too. Is like, how rare is it? You know, is it like 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000? It's the same in Vardenfell. I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's an item in here. It's just a banner. That's all it is. It's a house banner for a Morrowind house. The banner is worth like 14 million gold. But the drop rate is, nobody knows. Nobody even knows exactly which part or which mobs drop it. Nobody knows what the drop rate is. Nobody knows, is it drop from, you know, anything specific. So it's like some of these housing items are just elusive. There's another furnishing item that drops only from mushrooms that you pick up in Vardenfell. It's also worth like 15 to 20 mil because of how rare it is. And it's the same thing. Like, how many mushroom type things do you have to pick up to get it, you know? I actually appreciate the PG rating since I'm watching with my 3-year-old. Sorry, Steven. I try not to too, but sometimes when it comes to specific things like traversing Rothgar, oh, words cannot describe my anger as I'm like trying to figure out how to get up this mountain range without wasting all this time, and it'd be very annoying. And then I've got this cat next to me too, who's just driving me insane. I think so. I am going to at some point, potentially this week, make the YouTube video about how I ended up getting a cat while working at Child Protective Services. The only thing that I have to do is it's gonna have to be on a separate channel. Unfortunately, and for Steven's child, I won't use the words, but a lot of bad things happen in the story. And putting it on my channel with the new guidelines, I just don't know. I'm like, what would the channel name be? You know, do we just go just Jake? You know, something like that. Maybe it's too non-specific. But then you know, Jake Clips 2. You know, Electric Boogaloo. But then it's like, you know, that is something I was considering earlier, because I want to have the video somewhere. So that's kind of what my thinking is. And then it's like a whole another YouTube channel. It's gonna have to have another profile picture and, you know, all that other, you know, fruity stuff that goes with having another YouTube channel, just to have some of my like stuff on there that I can talk about without fear of ruining my whole channel's ad rating. Like, if people were like, oh, you know, you should make more like CPS story videos, then I could just throw them there. I thought about making a video on like top 5 funniest excuses for failing a drug test. These untold stories could actually be pretty funny. I might steal that, actually. And then also too, like, having a non-ESO related channel gives me the freedom to kind of do like almost anything as well. Like, you could go out and do a whole lot. What is this Windows? I'm gonna delete this real quick. Definitely a different channel. Yeah, so especially for those of you who don't know, but like, if you start failing an ad rating, YouTube will basically not monetize any of your videos until they've manually reviewed them. Like, you can get yourself in a lot of hot water if you get into a situation where some of your videos start to become demonetized. And plus too, like realistically, like, as much as I love you guys and you guys appreciate me, or at least some of you do, you guys are here for Elder Scrolls content. It's the same reason why, like, yeah, I could go and stream, like, you know, Stellaris or something, but, you know, that's not why you guys are here. You guys aren't here to watch me, you know, get all these sick W's on Warzone, you know? Exactly, keep the channel focused. And I think that's the big thing for me. Is just like the only exception to that, Danny, will be is when Elder Scrolls 6 releases. You best believe that there will probably be Elder Scrolls 6 content on this channel, in addition to, you know, other, you know, Elder Scrolls content, because I love the Elder Scrolls, and that goes to everything. You know, if I was making YouTube videos on Skyrim, you know, if I had the brain power to make Skyrim videos back in the day, I would have. I don't know why my Elgato flicked like 3 times. Sorry about that. I'm not really supposed to go on and off. Well, Elder Scrolls is relevant to ESO players, and that's the thing, and that's why like I also made like a lore video that talks about like Elder Scrolls lore and whatnot, and it will be new and fresh and pull more views. Yeah, and the other thing too is like I want to give you guys what you want. So like for those of you who would be interested in something like that, you know, there's the opportunity to go to it without, you know, YouTube being like, hey, look, Jake is releasing all these non-relevant videos to you. And to give you, and because you guys are here and you guys want to get the 411 on what goes on in Jake's YouTube world, so I've had an advertiser also reached out. They want me to make a dedicated video review of their game, and I'm like, you know, I don't really make like video reviews and stuff. Like, I mean, I could do it, but like, don't you want it attached to something? Like, it's like a 90-second, like, you know, integration. Like, stuff like that, I don't know if I even feel weird about that too, because I'm like, you know, you guys are here for at least some sort of reason. Do it. Do you think too, Law Dog, about, you know, is like they keep asking me how much I want to charge. They want me to make 3 separate independent review slash gameplay videos, and I'm like, like, I've done some advertisements at this point. It's just so weird to like put a price tag on yourself. I imagine this is like how like OnlyFans creators feel when they have like feet pictures of themselves. And they're like, you know, how much are these bad boys worth, you know? And it's like, I don't know. Like, how do you put a price tag on this? I'm not an NFT. Bro, I'd do it. You'll start to get, you know, people to reach out to you, Law Dog, to start doing these things. It's not the doing it part that is the most tricky part. It's the how do you appraise yourself? Thanks for the follow. Like I know me 420. Reach out to some other content makers. I did. I reached out to what's his name? Bra got this, and because he partners with Ridge Wallet, and he was charging them. I don't know if I should tell you guys the specifics. He might just, I don't know if he said it in confidence or whatnot, but he told me a number and whatnot. But then it's like, you know, he has more viewers and whatnot. But then too, like, they were asking for more stuff. Am I on? Yeah, I'm on band. I'm in the main ESO band that has like 12,000 Xbox goons, and then I'm in like all the trading ones, like Tamriel's Depot, the Lunacy, Vixen's Valor, Ashes, Walmart, and all them. I don't use band a whole lot. I use with Discord more frequently, but I do have band chat. The other thing too, and I will promise you guys this also, is that if I am like reviewing something and putting it into an integration, you best believe that I actually used it and from somebody I didn't know or didn't test or didn't vet through. Like when if you guys remember the Awesome one, like even right now, like I'll show you guys this. I have my Chromebook right here, and my phone, and I have this Mac. Like I actually use I actually used it to kind of screen pair all of my things. What's it called? Is it just called Gorilla? Or is it Gorilla and something else? Yeah, YouTube's real finicky. Twitch is real finicky too. Like realistically, not to, throw shade at all you guys watching on Twitch right now. Is it not recently played with. Remind me, how's it spelled? So I wonder if my chat's actually fixed itself. Let's see. See if it comes through. Curious to see if my chat will start working again in the chat bubble. Well, it didn't work for what Law Dog just said. Not hopeful. I don't know why it's not working. I actually paid for the premium version of. Oh no, I got to go. Hope you feel better. Thank you, Danny. Well, Danny's at least came through. I'll send you a message. Gorilla HQ. Oh, is that? Oh, that's the thing that you guys are talking about. I was like, what are you talking about, Splinter? Yeah, it clicked. See you, Danny. Good to see that Danny's messages came through for some reason on this intermission. We'll go back to the live scene. Yeah, it is pretty slow through. YouTube chat doesn't ever pop up on my multi-stream version of it up. And then because of that too, I always have Twitch chat up. So I actually have 4 devices up. So I think it causes things to be a little bit slower when I could have a little bit seamless. So what I might do is some sort of tech mumbo jumbo where I make sure that the Mac Studio thing get all of the internet bandwidth first. Think you'll ever start a PC account? I have my original PC account. I just don't know where I left it off. Like when I stopped playing on PC, they didn't even have Tamriel 1 out. Like I had veteran levels. Like that's how old that account is. Like I have items on that account that are tradable dungeon items. Like that's how old that character is. So I don't know. And the reason, it's not that I think that PC is any better or worse, or PlayStation is any better or worse, or even Xbox EU. The thing for me is all my friends play on Xbox and A. So that's where I, that's where I am. Any idea how long the NA servers will be down tomorrow? Probably until 10 or 11 a.m. Potentially sooner. I think it may tell us on the homepage. We're going to take a peek here. It's so much work to get started on PC. I made a PC account. I think I saw your video where you made a PC account. Let's see if it tells us. 4 a.m. is when it goes down. I actually paid for an account. Savage. Be careful making these admissions in the chats. Started with 150. Yeah, I think leveling up. I think, with how much that the developers like really want people to get into that mid to end game content. I wish they made it a little bit faster to get to 160. That's what I thought you meant. You meant you paid for, someone to give you a bunch of XP potions and, sets and items and things with in-game currencies. Yeah, so 4 a.m. Usually when it's 4 a.m. it will be down usually for 4 to 6 hours. What's odd is they don't usually do these updates on Wednesdays, and they did PC at the same time. So I'm wondering if there was like some sort of like crazy or weird exploit. PC players aren't very good. I wasn't very good on PC. Truthfully, when I played on PC, like I am so used to using like a controller. Like when I originally played ESO, like in beta, and I had to use like a keyboard, it was horrible. Like I was horrible at it because it's so jarring to have to use the keyboard in that way. You can use a controller. I was significantly younger when ESO was first released. I would have been like teenager. And that's why I use it now. Like I would have to use it back then, but back then I don't even know. I don't know if I had an Xbox yet. I didn't buy an Xbox until my freshman year of college, so I don't think when I started ESI I even had an Xbox yet. Because yeah, using the keyboard is not the way. And then because I think you bar swap with like the Z key, so it's like your hand, like your left hand is just constantly like, over there. They're all pampered law dog. They don't know how to play without add-ons. That's true. And a lot of times they have like these like crazy like add-ons on their screens and whatnot, and I'm over here like there's like nothing. I have an event quest, which I don't even think is. I think the lava foot stomp is actually a jester's event quest, and then I have the group that I was in. I sometimes try to even turn off, like I don't have like my stat UI or anything on. Although I do have a non-combat pet out, but I had it out yesterday when I was streaming, doing Dragon Star Arena on Veteran, which by the way was horribly hilarious. Trying to like court with Brandon, especially for those of you who watched the stream yesterday, because he's deployed currently, so his internet like kept cutting out, so he was just constantly disconnecting from the last boss fight to the point where it was like, all I want is the mini map. The mini map would be nice, especially with the sky shards and stuff on it. We should do a video together. Law Dog, I think Mid-Year Mayhem is coming up too. We could do a video about something during Mid-Year Mayhem. Because isn't Mid-Year Mayhem usually like a January/February type thing? Or am I remembering it wrong? Hey Jake, enjoy your YouTube's channel. Was recently recommended, got back to the name and noticed my XP was throttled after the New Year's Eve, obviously to level up. And then too, what you're also gonna have to consider is you were getting double XP during New Life, so now it's just back to the traditional levels. There's also things like Enlighten, so you can see in the bottom right hand corner, you see how like my XP bar has like that little bit of red flashing like just below my name. That means I'm enlightened, so I get extra XP. So there's just like a lot of like little tiny things that go into XP gain. But what I would say too is that XP is not the end all be all. A lot of times you can do a lot of difficult content without being the highest champion point levels or the highest, XP character. So don't be one of those people too. Don't let the people who tell you you can't play the game until you're 160, you know, keep you from enjoying the game. So that will be my suggestion to you is that, you know, I would continue to grind XP, but don't think you can't enjoy the game until you're 160 either. I think add-ons take away from actually playing the game. I did it back in the day on WoW. The only one that I remember distinctly having being super helpful on PC was the one that showed you where the lore books were for the Mages Guild, because I was desperate to level up the Mages Guild, and I remember that one being like a godsend, but that was like it. And I'll read your messages on when the stream's over, and I'll join the band chat that you sent me, Law Dog. Just because I don't have a way to. I don't want to. Well, I don't want to bring up my DMs because I don't know what's in there from other people too. It's always a risk. It was actually a risk yesterday streaming with my friends. I was like, guys, there's 22 words that none of you can say, no matter how angry you get. Even these ones that aren't even that bad, you can't say those, you know, or Susan will get really upset at my YouTube channel. So, you know, if we start dying, you're allowed to say things like, ah, you know, gosh darn it, or ah, phooey. You know, you could say that. I've only done it on one tune and never again. I think I've only done it on this tune also. I don't even remember if I've done it on another one. I'll check here real quick. I don't even remember like what achievements or anything my what's it had, like my original character on Xbox even has. Take a look. I mean, the second character I made was literally a Redguard Nightblade on Xbox, so like my judgment when I was so hopeful. So like when I made these characters, right, I had submitted like a ticket to ZeniMax to be like, hey, can you take my PC character and bring it to Xbox? And I was waiting and waiting, so I just made these characters just to be like, you know, like just to screw around with until I was like, oh, you know, they're gonna give me my character. Unfortunately, I missed the window and I didn't get my character. They were like, there's nothing we can do, and so I don't have that character. I should load him up one day, you know, like reviewing my old you know, my old character. What skill lines does he even have? Well, he's not even fully leveled up. Doesn't he have fully leveled up skills? He's a maxed out restoration staff but not maxed out destruction, or two-hander or one-hand. Huh. Doesn't have maxed out medium or heavy armor. He's a vampire. I didn't even know that. He did the main storyline though. I did the Dark Brotherhood? Oh, you know why? That's probably for Shadowy Supplier to get that stupid lead from the Gaze of Sithis. As I turn in events to Brenda, my XP gains would decrease from each message. Thanks for this, though. I won't be shy trying stuff at a lower level. The other thing too is that I believe that will take into account enlightenment. So are you champion leveled? Know me? Because that will be the biggest thing. What was I looking at? Oh, yeah. So I believe that that's what was going on. 13 enchanting. Oof, that's so embarrassing. Honestly, though, what's even more embarrassing is a Redguard Nightblade. Yeah. So what I would say is likely is you were probably enlightened, and you probably then became unenlightened, and then because what you would get when you're enlightened is just more XP, and then afterwards you're not going to get that XP again. Oh my god, what is on his character? I don't even know if I want to look. It's got level 1 iron swords. That was probably for cosmetics. And nothing. He's actually wearing nothing. You know, honestly, that's probably for the best. This is probably, yeah, this was just for the cosmetics. He doesn't have a banker equipped, does he? He does not. Alright. 230s, I'd say. So that's probably what happened. Each quest also might give you a slightly different amount, but if it's significantly different, that's what I would say. I had a friend grind from 2000 CP to 3200 CP in the last event. That is pretty nutty. I haven't been able to get that lead yet, says Snake. So I believe it has a 20% chance to drop. My thing with a 20% chance is like, that sounds like it's a decent chance, but you get a lot of 20% where you're not getting it. This guy's just hoarding furnishing plan recipes. I don't know why I have all of these on him. 2 random level 40 glyphs. Oh, he's also got the ballistas. Everyone needs a character that just hoards, you know, a ton of your, you know, ballistas and stuff. If you guys watched my video on how to become the Emperor, don't be that guy that's leading a group and doesn't have any, you know, siege weapons, because you see it all too often. Everyone gets outside of a door and there's nothing. I was happy with the 200 CP I earned. That's a lot of CP. Don't let other people's achievements take away from your achievements. Killed by a bot. Like, it's, you know, that's a lot of CP. So I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for you. Also, did you guys see the video, by the way, on how to become the Emperor? Did you guys like it? Any feedback you had for that video? The only negative that I didn't like that I'll share with you. So my Xbox game DVR is constantly full. So when I became the Emperor, I couldn't take any game clips because I was full. So I used like a dummy Steam account so that I could save the past live stream of me like streaming myself, only to find out that Twitch deletes your old streams after a certain amount of time. I think it was 30 days back then, and so I lost all the footage. So it's pretty much just a bunch of stock footage. YouTube subscription, you know, Jabbo BCTV. Did you mention Connor 8 keep AP buffs? So I missed, actually that's a good point, because I didn't even think about the corner AP ones. And I did say about repairing doors and walls, and then the delve buff. Why is Cyrodiil not appearing? I'll switch characters again. I'll have to put that in the pinned comment, as I completely forgot that certain keeps give you more AP. The thing that I've run into though is that if you're, especially if you're doing either the level 10 or the no proc campaigns, a lot of times you'll have all the keeps. Like by the time you've like gone through the map, you could take everything. Like realistically, like there's been multiple times where I've like gone through and just had nothing to take on those campaigns because yellow or red or whatever, you know, you are, will just run out of things. But what Law Dog is saying is it gonna populate? Cyrodiil? Please? There we go. So these corner ones give you an 8% AP buff, which can be helpful in gaining AP. The only thing that's not going to be as helpful is it gives AP to everybody equally, so your whole alliance is also going to be getting this buff. But it is good to know that, you know, if you have these keeps, especially if the people who are also Emperor pushing aren't online, that you can then get extra AP for doing things, similar to like the delve buff. I should put that in the pinned comment, 'cause that's a good point. Is Rally Cry good for Sorks? Hang on, I'll pull it up here and give you my thoughts. Let me put that in the pinned comment before I get distracted here. A memento. And thank you for the follow, Kazam. I think I've seen you on YouTube. On stream. Make sure to take the corner keeps for an 8% AP buff. Boom. Thank you. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit, but Rally Cry, I believe, is in the. But also to getting those Lancers, oh, especially for like non procking, whatever non proc campaign you're in or non CP, those those Lancers are ridiculously OP. What is that just from traditional Cyrodiil? I forget where they consider Rally Cry from. Let's pull it up here. I think they consider it here. Or is it considered? It's not considered Battlegrounds, is it? There it is. So, while Battle Spirit is active, damage and 1554 crit resistance for 20 seconds. This effect decreases, based on how many people it hits. The only thing that I dislike about Rallying Cry for a Sorcerer, I definitely think this is better on other classes because crit chance in only one slot of Magicka, I don't think is going to be very good on a Sorcerer because it's not going to give you a lot for your Hardened Ward shield because that's going to scale off your max Magicka. And your max Magicka, oh, hang on my pet out. I was like, why is my shield for the follow Jake and Pancakes? Switch back. I lost my thing. That's my opinion, at least. You certainly don't have to build a Sorcerer. And thank you, Disabled Gamer, for you to follow also. Like, you don't have to build as a Sorcerer that utilizes shields, strong shield, and have the ability to, have really good total Magicka. That would be my only warning to you, if you were thinking about doing something like that. But overall, though, you are correct. I mean, it is still a good set. Especially if you're not doing... Now, as we've just been talking about Magicka Sorcerers, you could also consider on a Stamina Sorcerer also, where this whole argument of, having good Sorc build. So I currently use... And I just whacked my mic stand again. And there's a lot of variability that you can throw in this, but I use Ancient Grace. I have a Fire Staff front bar, and then an Ice Staff back bar, and then I use the Gaze of Sithis, Necropotence, and then Trainee. It's 2-piece Trainee, and then so you'll always have, basically as you front bar, back bar, you'll always have Ancient Grace. It just gives you a lot of stats. You guys can't see it easily, but I have... These are my stats. Which bar is this? That's the back bar. This is the front bar. So, I mean, you can see that there's a really decent amount. You have tons of Magicka, tons of health, and really good health recovery. Honestly, I just think it's very easy. The only thing that I think that it's sometimes suffers from is that you don't have a lot of spell damage. You don't have as much offensive capabilities, but Sorcerers already come with very good single target pressure to begin with. So I think that as long as you get really good at rotating, like your Curses, your Mage's Fury, your Crystal Frags, that honestly is going to be way more important than the sets that you're even wearing, because Sorcerers can do a lot as long as their abilities are in unison together. And thank you, One Hyzan, for the little guy with the heart. Little, I don't know what that is. Teddy bear? Alien thing? I have no clue. But this is what I would wear on a Mag Sorcerer. I've tried different spell damage builds. I've even used like the Moon Hunter set, because I think that gives like... I think I might even have it still in my inventory. Hang on. You can see, like, I've experimented. This is the sets that I've like experimented with. I've tried Crafty, I've tried Armor Master, Moon Hunter. Moon Hunter I think was definitely the most interesting because when your alchemical poison fires increases your weapon and spell damage by 547 for 8 seconds. Like that's a pretty good uptime on a lot of weapon and spell damage. And the 2, 3, and 4 of weapon and spell twice is also pretty good. So I think this is a really good option. Burning Spell Weave, like Law Dog said too, that's another good option. But for me, I like to have really good shields and have a lot of total magicka. Any suggestions for 1-bar builds? I'm having trouble keeping up with timers and abilities. Are you talking about for PvP or for PvE? It has been one of the more requested things for me to look at. The only problem is I've always like I think there's a lot of benefits from using 2 bars for PvE. Like you get the ability to, you know, have a whole separate skill line of dots and things that you can put on, you know, people essentially. So that'd be my only little warning. PvE. I would have to get back to you. I do plan at some point to try to make like a conducive video on like just quick easy like 1-bar PvP builds for every class, quick easy 1-bar PvE builds. The only thing is I'd have to do a lot of research for PvE 1-bar builds just because unfortunately I've never used one. I would say though that if you do play on Xbox, I will this one setting changed my whole life and my whole perspective on bar swapping. I just clicked the wrong button. Yeah, we're gonna go to settings real quick. Don't panic. It'll come back. So accessories, and if you change this to make it to where your bar swap is your right thumbstick, like it will make playing ESO so much easier. And if you're playing on PC, I would either do something similar to like reroute it to not be the Z key, because it makes it so much easier to be able to press in a thumbstick. And for me, it's always been tricky because like essentially when I was in PvP conflict, like it being on the D-pad, it's like, well, do you take your finger off your ability to move, or do you take your finger off your ability to touch the D-pad? This will make it a lot easier. You're still going to suffer from ZeniMax's very, very slow input delays, but besides that, I would say it's a very good option if you're, especially if you're on any type of console. Rallying Cry would be good for a Magda, definitely. I think the most common class I think that uses Rallying Cry is a Templar, I want to say. That's just what I've seen, but it is a good set. It's just not something that I would use on my Sorcerer Elite Zoss servers. Yeah, so like you can do all the inputs that you want. If the server registers them, that's up to you. I don't know if anyone else on console that's watching does something similar, but personally, it makes it a lot easier. You should try the input delays with 300 ping. You know, sometimes that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of probably how it is when I stream. You know, sometimes when it gets framey, like it's not the capture device or Streamlabs' fault. It's my actual Xbox or the server that's like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? So tomorrow will be the Pan Elsewhere event. So that'll be what we redo tomorrow. The stream, I don't know if we're going to do before or afterwards. I'll probably make the video in the middle of the day and then potentially do the stream around when the work day would end around North America time. Just because the last streams have either been super late or super early. Try to capture, you know, like a different group of people. And we'll kind of go from there. But does anyone else have any other suggestions, ideas for videos for this week? We're still working on a speed build. You guys requested a build on how to be able to go out and farm items and just blow through PvE quests. That's a bit competent, but also is pretty much speed capped. It's not starting tomorrow, kill the bot, but there's a lot of prep that I think everyone needs to start working on. It's the Pan Elsewhere event. It'll probably start, I believe, in like 14 days, so about 2 weeks. So you have about 2 weeks to get ready for it. But what is in the event is it's a super profitable event. Some of the most used endgame items are going to be dropping at a higher rate during that. So it's definitely one of the ones that you want to make sure that you farm because it's so profitable to do. Yeah, Dragon Blood and Dragon Realm, and even Dragon Bile to some degree. I play on the original Xbox One and have slow internet on that, LOL, so I totally get slow inputs. Okay, cool, I like Prophet says kill the bot. Don't we all? And heroism potions, they're good for a lot of things. PvE players, PvP players. Heroism is actually a really good buff if you guys don't, try to stack it. It's one of the reasons I think that Oaken Soul is even good is because it gives you heroism. Because honestly, like every other buff that heroism or that Oaken Soul gives you, I don't know if I have one on me, it's not as crazy as it is to just have like 2 bars. Like if you were to use crit surge on a sorcerer, you'd have like, and then like a tri-stat potion or a basic spell power potion, you'd pretty much have all of the buffs that would be worth having except for some of the heroism and maybe some of the other ones. I still need to get the Dovra Sabatons. I talked a lot of smack about this set, and there's actually some people who stand by it, and I've seen people use this to be pretty good. Force, yeah, that's another one too. Where is this Oaken Soul ring? And also, screw the Mara's Whisper. I wanted this desperately, and I have farmed. I think it's the Imperial City Prison. I believe that's what it is. Over and over again for those stupid eyes, and I've never gotten it. It's ridiculous. Oaken Soul, Minor Berserk, Minor Courage, Brutality, Sorcery, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so, like, a lot of these might sound great, but say you're doing PvP content, you're going to get a lot of these already. Also consider, too, like, some of these don't really go together because one's going to give you weapon, one's going to give you spell damage, so it doesn't really make a difference. The minor intellect, endurance, and stuff, you're going to get that from your potions. Mending is not going to be useful. Protection you can get easily from other places if you would want it. Aegis, stuff like that is, eh. See you, Viper. I think that's what you meant. I'm not like just telling you goodbye. I didn't know if that's what you were implying with the 07 and the sunglasses and the wave. If it's not, though, you don't have to leave. But we are also winding down, just kind of giving you guys a little bit of details on what we're working on for tomorrow. Very excited about the Pan Elsewhere event. Olo and Crusader give major heroism. Yeah, and you could also use it through a potion too. That's the other thing too that I think what really separates like mid-game players, I think, from like end-game players is the use of potions. I know so many people who are so hesitant to use potions. Like, potions are good in every facet of the game, pretty much. Even if you're like a thief or you're doing some sort of like robbery stuff, like just having invisibility potions can be helpful. It can be helpful to skip content with invisibility potions. And don't even get me started on like all the potions you can use for actual like PvP and PvE content. Using potions is one of the easiest things that you can add to like your Elder Scrolls like repertoire, that will really help add a lot to your gameplay. The pots are big money for heroism, and that's why this Pan Elsewhere event is so important. That's why as soon as they announced it, and I heard about it today, and it's already after the Emperor video was done, which, by the way, that video was like 6 gigabytes on my hard drive. I don't know why it was so big. I mean, granted, it was like 20 something minutes long, and I wanted it to be full HD. But still, I didn't think it'd be that big. Fine, I'll leave, says Viper. I was just kidding. I was just saying hi. That's what I figured. I was like, Viper hasn't said anything yet in Twitch chat, so I was like, I feel like he's not leaving, but he's also waving. So I'm like, he could be staying, could be leaving. I don't know. Craft him and get rich. That's true. Sometimes I feel like it can be a little bit safer. The only downside to selling potions on the open market, this doesn't include selling in zone chat, is like the naming scheme sometimes for them is very scuffed. Thank you for the follow, OGIT. What's the recipe for heroism pots? I actually do have a video on the top 5. I think it's the top 5 most profitable potions to sell. I would have to double check what the heroism potions are. Here's the other thing too, Splinter, that they don't tell you. So like, potion making is not just as simple as like heroism, because you could have like heroism invisibility, heroism and resolve, heroism and you get some stats back, heroism and major whatever, That's where I think it's a little bit tricky to know. Now obviously if you're just going towards like your traditional endgame PvP community, generally they want something very specific. I'd have to double check what the recipe is. I believe I highlighted it in that video, but I'd honestly have to double check. That was when I was still terrible at making YouTube videos. You might be thinking to yourself, Jake, isn't that currently? Kinda. Thanks for the follow, OGIT. I can't remember if I said that or not, but and thank you for the follow, Joss Tash on Twitch. Thank you guys. For PvP though, is Splinter where it becomes even more tricky, because I personally love handcrafted potions that can do tons of different things, and then you throw it on a wheel and you could have some invisibility potions, you can have some revealing potions, you can have heroism potions, tri-stat potions, you can have potions that will just give you a shit ton of extra damage, to your spells and weapon damage. Like, the potions is, I think, such a undervalued piece of the Elder Scrolls, like endgame, mid to end game, PvP, PvE, even like player versus whatever you would refer to thieving as. I would really encourage you guys to get into it. Most players don't know about poison buff pot. That's true. That is also true. Poisons, for those of you who are like, man, I didn't know all this about potions. Law Dog's right too. Most people don't know about poisons. There's especially like escapist poisons. I don't know if I have any on me. I used to have a bunch on me. I think for inventories. Escapist potions. This one. Hi there, any mats I should buy in preparation for the next event? I would let me think on that for this next video I'm going to make tomorrow, because I think there's a good answer to that, but I have to remember what goes into making heroism potions. But whatever that ingredient that would go along with it is going to skyrocket in price. But this one, for example, this is escapist. I think this is one of the best ones. It renders you immune to crowd control effects for 3.9 seconds and grants you unstoppable. I love this. And it immobilizes your target. I think escapist poisons are really dope, personally. I took a 2-year break from the game, and your videos are really helped me try to figure out myself again. I appreciate your efforts and help you've given me through your videos, man. I genuinely appreciate them. Thanks, OGIT. If you have suggestions, too, we're on a whole week splurge of, making more videos and streams and things. So if you have specific questions, ideas, videos that you think would translate well, I think Law Dog made a good point about poisons. I think making a poison videos would be really good, and potions video, updated one. I use poisons on my Dragon Knight, says Viper. That's honestly, I think most people should use them. Columbine. So I guarantee you that Columbine is going to go up in value Now, what I would say is Dragon Blood and Dragon Realm are going to probably decrease because they're going to be dropping extra during the event, but you can best believe that Columbine is going to be something that people are going to be seeking after. I use Minor Brutality poisons on my Stamden, love it. Conspicuous poisons for PvP. The only thing that I hate about poisons versus potions is, like, if you think there's a lot of combinations for potions that are really good, you would not even be able to scratch the surface of how many poisons there are. I feel like there are so many good poisons for PvP, even if it's just your basic cookie cutter double dot, you know, poisons. There's just so many poisons, and there's so many things that you could do. You have to kind of figure out how you want it to complement your build and your play style. Thanks for the YouTube follow, Bastia Kathia. So that's where I'm just like, you know, what is the, you know, what's the best one? And thank you for the follow, Prototype. Hopefully if you guys have learned anything, it's that don't undervalue poisons. Do a video on the best place to farm potion mats. We don't have to do a video on that. I'll show you right now, Splinter. All you have to do is you just head on over the Hollow City in Cold Harbor. Wham bam, you'll be in the best spot. How's it going on, Prototype? Or Protonite? Sorry, I say everything incorrectly, but thank you for the follow. Still trying to make a Carther build with poisons for my DK. Proto Knight. That makes much more sense. But the #1 place to farm, actually I think one of my first ever YouTube videos was here, the Hollow City inside of Cold Harbor. This has pretty much all the potions and stuff that you would need. Thank you for the subscription, Cranton Smith and Leo Enoch. So you can see that there's just tons of like raw materials. You can see we're passing on. Sorry, I'm like going very quickly on this mount, but you can see that we passed a bunch of things, more things over here. And what's nice about the loot pool in the Hollow City is pretty much everything you would need to make the traditional like spell and weapon power pots are all gonna be here. So you just run around here and you're good. I don't know the hood. I'm from the country boy. I'm a country boy. What should I get to invest into next patch to make profit? Honestly, probably right now it's probably Columbine. Without the thing that's going to be a bit tricky is they've hinted that they're going to redo their combat again. Like they're going to relook at the combat patch. What they determine in that patch, what class changes they make, is going to really impact what sets are going to sell. So for example, if it's a more bulky tanky meta, you'll have more bulky tanky sets that are going to kind of, you know, really rise up in value. If it becomes another patch of, you know, where everyone's one-shotting each other, then it's going to be those types of sets that are going to be doing, you know, more. That just threw me off guard because I just subbed to your YouTube as well. I was like, how the hell does he know my name? Well, I've been playing for a few months but never did the storyline. Last night I stepped and finally did my Soul Skill storyline. What'd you think of it? What's up, Jakey boy? I just got out of Fanglair hard mold and got clobbered. Nothing happened. Not happening tonight. Fanglair hard mode sucks. The actual trick to beating Fanglair hard mode, the way that Re did it is Re had basically a DPS with the Necro Res, and then Re had our tank also have a Necro Res, because you see, some PvE content is hard because it requires you to, you know, memorize mechanics or blah blah blah, or have a high DPS or be good at a rotation. Fanglair hard mode requires that you just not get hit by these crossing knights that are that do this one-shot mechanic. So you get the boss all the way down to the final, you know, phase that you can't do quickly because you have to slow kill him, or else you spawn a bunch of Atronauts that kill you. It is a pain in the ass. And then he's got all these types of one-shot mechanics. It's just so stupid. Been playing the game for going on 7 years and still learning new stuff. Well, hopefully I can continue to help, you know, teach with new things. Eventually I'll run out of things and At that point, you know, we'll just wait until Elder Scrolls 6. Kidding. Soul skill line was non-stop solos. I actually enjoyed it, and I'm loving using this special in its dungeon right now. Are you talking about Soul Strike? I this 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 like not this actual ultimate, but this right here, Soul Trap, used to be, this is like a fun piece of like Elder Scrolls like lore. This used to be one of the best gold methods in the game. What those of you who may not know, if you didn't play around the game's initial release on PC, soul gems were rare. Like, you would go in these PvP conflicts, nobody would res each other. Like, a soul gem, like a stack of soul gems would probably be worth like 20,000 to 50,000 gold on console, and probably like 100,000 gold on PC. It was a whole method to basically fill soul gems. There was a whole market of soul gem fillerers, you know. It was a wild time, you know, in the ESO economy. Like, if I could go back, I would have definitely been one of those guys just constantly soul trapping people. When is the next update patch coming again? I see they've made a letter discussing it, but they haven't given us a date. I believe about halfway through January we should at least have some idea, because we're gonna have to start play testing things on the patch notes. They may have actually released it today, because they have released more patch notes as to what's going out on the what's it called, the test servers. I personally haven't read the patches, except for the fact that the Pan Elsewhere event is returning. So we might get a slight little bit of a combat patch then update too. But what I would say is like, thanks for the subscription, Waylon LaFrance. The best zone to farm is probably Vardenfell. I think the sets from here are just generally like universally good to sell. Another decent set too could potentially be like Pariah and Briarheart. They just always seem to do well regardless, especially Pariah. And then in Vardenfell, you've got those two good sets too that you can also make a decent profit on. I would say Stiggins from Cold Harbor has also been doing very well. It's just hard to know, is it going to continue to do very well, because, you know, they could completely change the meta, and then all of those could go out the wind too. Kind of like Mother Sorrow. You guys remember when everyone used to wear Mother Sorrow? Psh, not anymore. Poor Mother Sorrow. It used to be such a good gold method for a long time. It's one of those things, like a boss, like when I was making my video about the market watch, just trying to predict like what's going to be good is going to be so tricky. But what I would say is like consumables, raw materials, stuff like that is probably going to be very good, because if what they predict is what I suspect it will be, a new class, you're going to have people coming in and farming experience, you're going to have people leveling up new characters, they're going to be going through consumables, you're going to have a high player count. We're already playing at a point where, you know, over the holidays / winter, this is already the highest player count time anyway. So adding on top of that is just going to give you even more. Frostbite is real big now. Oh, definitely. I've been singing the praises of Frostbite for a while. Don't forget, too, you get a free Frostbite staff from doing that side quest. I don't remember what the quest is exactly called. I believe it also comes in Sharpened. But I remember it being, like, right here, I think, in Gideon. That side quest will give you... What was crazy is when Blackwood was first released, right? Everyone was buying that staff for like 350,000 gold, and you could just get it from a side quest. The cat is right here. She's sleeping. You can see me pet her. Actually, you can see her. She's right here. I forget that she's hard to see because she's basically a void of color. But you can see her, K-Minion. She's right here. I'll sit like this so you guys can look at her while I discuss sets. But yeah, even when, remember when Galen came out and everyone was talking about that Gourmand set, you could get a free purple Gourmand ring for basically 3 minutes of work. It was crazy. Frostbite, haven't heard you mention it. I believe it was mentioned in the November Market Watch when we were talking about the changes that were coming to the Warden. And it's in the cheat sheet spreadsheet that I made. I can see if I can pull that up. Well, actually, I don't have my... I don't know if I have my thing up. It's in my cheat sheet, though. Let me see if I can connect these two things together. Don't panic. You're gonna see a void of things here. Gotta turn my Windows capture on. But it's in my cheat sheet. Where is Safari? Don't panic, anyone. Safari is not an option. God, I hate this thing sometimes. People would do the same with the lightning staff. Very true. That was definitely also very popular back in the day. Let me turn on Google Docs. I have my draft here. Let me see if I can turn this on. Windows capture. Why is it never there? Sorry, everyone. Sorry for making you stare at this void of nothingness. The Windows capture thing for Streamlabs is just stupid. There it is. So this is my one that I did based on the ESO economy in 2020. So this is actually the Overland sets DLC ones that I suggested. And you can see Frostbite is up here. Unfathomable Darkness, I know one of you guys was talking about that in the comment section. I believe was here. Is selling really well also. But that's also going to be what I would call a patch dependent one. So that's what I would... My only hesitation would be, I have 2100 crowns. Is there anything that would be wise to use them on? So this is going to be a hot take that I don't know if you guys are ready for, but I think that the majority of things in the crown store are useless. The only things that I generally recommend are the merchant and the banker, and then character slots. That's pretty much it. Now, I do own a house. That was much more of an impulse thing, but I also bought that with gold. Like, I didn't personally do it. And I've gone through crown crates before, but I also generally buy them with gold. Like, if it's your own hard-earned money, I would say the only things that's worth getting are the merchant, the banker, and an additional character slot. Because everything else that I think is good is free. Like, the quest starters, yeah, they're cool, but they're free. The DLC, you get their ESO Plus, and a lot of times you get it for free, depending on the version of ESO that you own, or, you know, a lot of times they're giving you get Morrowind and you get the Imperial City now for free. Crown crates. Would you not recommend an armory slot? It depends. Like, I feel like PvP and PvE are both good, you know? What's the first better option? The merchant or the banker? I can get it in a couple weeks. So, that depends. If you're like me and you just need to sell stuff more than you need to bank it, like, for example, like, let's pretend I'm going out, I'm farming Mother Sorrow, right? This is back in the day. I don't need a banker, because I'm only going to get a handful of Mother Sorrow's pieces. But you know what I am going to get is a bunch of garbage. I'm going to constantly be getting ornate pieces, off-traded, wrong set item pieces. I just quick sell those. So if you're doing a lot of farming like that, then I say get rid of it. And get the merchant. Now, if you're farming different things, and actually treasure maps like a boss is recommending is a really good option for using the bank. What I would say too is that a lot of times you can generally, like, if I'm doing the like maps, I will mail them to somebody and then have them mail them back to me so I can pull them out that way. But a lot of times I don't think the banker is just really that helpful. Rag picker is okay, but it's so there's so many easy ways to level up materials. Like you can just go and so here's the easiest way to level up, right? Your crafting is you basically just have someone craft you a bunch of whatever. So for example, I helped my friend get max jewelry. I had to craft him 200, we'll say like 250 platinum rings. He deconstructed all of those. He's now level 500 or 50, excuse me. Like, I don't think it would be as helpful like to have the rag picker. I don't have ESO plus though. Would it be worth getting the bank slots, or is there a way to get those with gold? Yes, you can 100% increase your slots through the actual bank upgrades, as well as the bag merchant. What I would say too is like, if you're at a point where you can't upgrade anything anymore, you can make multiple characters. You saw me log on to my other character. He had like 80 slots filled with just extra garbage. Like, don't feel like you can't take other characters that are not doing anything and just give them a whole bunch of gobbledygook. That don't forget about that too, because that's pretty important when it comes to making sure that, you know, you don't, because the other thing too is that you can have those little boxes. I'll show you the boxes here real quick. But the important thing is that you keep the valuable items, that you don't just get rid of them. And there's a lot of ways to store items, multiple characters. You can buy these bank boxes that I'll show you here too, with Telvar or RIT vouchers, mind you, too. When our guy gets there. Where do you get them with gold? Are you talking about the upgrades? There's a merchant, I believe. You can upgrade your bank space, right? I'm not crazy. Don't forget the horse upgrade. That's exactly true. So these boxes you can buy with either Rits, Crowns, or Telvar. These are also great. I fill these with a bunch of gobbledygook. You can upgrade your bank with, or do you just get the slots that you get? If you have a lot of characters too, yeah, oh yeah. So you can buy bank space upgrades. I think you can buy them at the bank, but these two things can be I've never bought these with crowns ever. But when you max them out, you can't buy more from crowns, which is obviously fair. Do you have predictions for when armory slots can go on sale? I know outfit slots have been on sale in the past, but not yet armory. Honestly, I don't know. But these 3 pets also give you 5 extra slots on all your characters. So if you're in a situation where you have a ton of characters and you needed, so say you had 10 characters, well, now you have an extra 50 slots for, you know, 1,200 crowns. Not a bad deal, but it's probably worth saving those crowns until you get to a point where you can buy the merchant, because overall she's the best investment for your crowns. It's through the bank. When you talk to the banker, it says upgrades at the bottom, so I'll have to check it out next time in the bank. Yeah, I think that's right. I was having a moment. And then the bag space guy, you always can talk to him too. Don't forget too, you can also use guild banks. Like, you could be in a situation where you and your friends like all share a guild bank. That's 500 slots. And if you're close with your friends, you can just store like extra stuff in there. And, you know, stuff that's not like crazy valuable either, you know, you can always chuck in there. And also to kind of go through this list here. So this is just meant to be like, this is my predictions for January. I did a whole video on my January predictions and whatnot. It's actually funny I mentioned the Pan Elsewhere event too, ironically. But I was like, we'll see what happens. This is just meant to be like a list of anything that generally has a decent market for it. So we have consumables, we have overland sets, we have overland sets DLC, we've got PvP or non-Imperial City PvP, Imperial City sets, crafted sets, and then other. This is still something I'm working on. It's just more of like a general resource for you guys that I hit upon now in my monthly market watch videos, just because I think it's nice to have like a reference of, like, you know, apparently I misspelled the word Swift. Never realized that. It's good to have a reference, because the biggest thing when it comes to trading in ESO is being able to tell when something should be sold, is overlisted, doesn't have enough listings. That's the hardest part about trading, right? And I can summarize it perfectly in this example. I was assisting my friend in making a non-proc PvP character, right? And what happened is that I was like, okay, let's go get you some craft. Show you a piece because I generally have it in my inventory for reference. And I think sometimes it's just good to use. It just gives you tons of magicka. I went to Mournhold to buy him this set. You know, cover it all for him. There was probably, between every Mournhold trader, 10 pieces of crafty Elfique. I was flabbergasted at how few listings there were. And it made me completely rethink, like, I'm like, how many other sets are there this big gap for? So, when people talk about trading, it is never what's this one best item or this couple, a list of items, and then figuring out which, based on your server / your time frame / your sales metrics, is going to be good, because that's always going to be what's different. And that's the best trading advice I can give you is always consider what's going on your server and seeing what the market flow is there. Because that's good, just tips for anyone on any server. You know, because unfortunately I play on Xbox and A, but even if I gave you guys advice and I said, hey, you know, go out there and sell crafty Elfique, there's a huge deficit. Well, if we all did that, there'd be no deficit of crafty Elfique, and then none of us would make any money. That's why it's important for everyone to be able to kind of have the knowledge to look, you know, kind of on their own. So hopefully that advice has been helpful. I know trading in ESO is like much more complicated in games like versus like RuneScape or other MMOs where it's just simpler to do these types of transactional trades. So I do apologize that ESO is like very finicky when it comes to that, but I can't fix the economy for you. If I could do that, I'd be the president of the U.S. Why do you go Necropotence over Crafty? It's just more magicka. You can actually, it doesn't give them a side by side, but so the Necropotence 3132 magicka, crafty Elfique gives you 2,550. That's pretty much the only reason. And I also think Ancient Grace is good too, because Ancient Grace gives, as a 3-piece, gives you 2,406 magicka as its 3-piece, and then you can combine that with Trainee, which gives you, as a 2-piece, you get 14, and it has a 1-piece, which is also important too, because most sets don't give you a 1-piece. 1454 max health and 1454 max magicka, so you can really push that total magicka number, help give you yourself some bigger shields. But it's also getting late, my friends, so any other final questions, ideas, suggestions that you guys have, anything you guys think I should be doing, ideas for this week, stream ideas, video ideas, thoughts, opinions on the world, concerns, comments, editing tactics I should implement, anything you guys think that I can do. I'm here for all of it. I'm here to listen, take any feedback, take any suggestions, and run with them this week. So, what can I do? And obviously, too, if you're watching this now, or you're watching this in the past, or you're catching up to this point in the stream and I've already clicked end stream, please always feel like you can put in the comments below, hey, I have this idea. So that's my kind of final suggestion is if you have any ideas, please put them in the comments below. Also, Steven, one of your old messages just came through and I feel like I answered it. Yeah, we talked about that. I was like, for some reason your message on don't having ESO Plus just came through. So sorry about that. I was like, my brain had a mental conniption. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Steven. But that is going to be all she wrote for me tonight. I thank you guys so much for stopping by at this late hour. And I thank you guys so much for supporting the content, taking us where we are. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is craziness. So thank you guys again for helping me hit such a huge milestone that I never thought I would. It's certainly not as fast as we hit it. So thank you guys, and thank you for the follow, new Nam tab. And yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow because we still got the rest of the week content. So you guys know you'll see me later, and I'll see you then. Bye, guys.